As the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift or Gete in our major story. Nigerian troops have continued the counter-offensive against the Boko Haram terror group with the recapture of more towns in both Adamawa and Lagos states. Blast APC senators over allegation that it intends to send INEC Basu Tahiru Jega on terminal leave. Resident Electoral Commissioner for Lagos State, Akin Rebi, says over 1 million permanent voter cards is due to be picked up in the state. And outside Nigeria, police in Bangladesh are putting the hawking to death of a popular blogger while injuring his wife. Have you join us now? Details of the headlines and other stories. Nigeria's military authorities say troops have flushed out Boko Haram insurgents from Bara in Yobe State after 2 days of fighting. They also disclosed that a similar operation in Gulak, the headquarters of Madagali local government area of Adamawa State, was successful. The firm's headquarters said through its Twitter feed that many assaulted weapons and vehicles were recovered or destroyed. It was silent on the casualty on both sides, but stressed that cordon and search operations are underway in the two communities fleshly recaptured from insurgents. President Goodluck Jonathan is confident that Nigerian troops will recover more territories from Boko Haram insurgents as they step up the momentum on ongoing counter-terrorism operations. He expressed his optimism at audience with the outgoing French ambassador to Nigeria, Jacques Champaya de Labroye. President Jonathan said officers and men of the Nigerian army he met on the frontliners in Borno and Adamawa State were in high spirits, well prepared and determined to successfully complete the operations against Boko Haram. Presidential spokesman Ruben Abati quotes the president as saying the soldiers would soon clear the terrorists out of other areas they are still occupying. He also restated Nigeria's appreciation of France's support for the country and its neighbors in the fight against terrorism and commended President Francois Hollande for organizing the Paris Summit of Heads of State in May 2014. In his remarks, Ambassador Labroye said that France was confident in the future of Nigeria and its ability to continue playing a huge role in Africa and the world affairs. The ambassador also expressed delight at improved trade and economic ties between the two countries in the last 3 years, noting that 250 French companies are currently operating in Nigeria. Following the twin bomb explosion in the city of Jos, Plateau State security agencies in the state have confirmed the death toll as 13 lives and injured 14. Speaking to journalists after the blast, Plateau State Commissioner for Police Nasiru Oki, in company of the Special Task Force Commander David Enete, says calm has returned to the area as people have begun to move about their own business.
At about 5 minutes after 6 o'clock, there was a bomb blast opposite the Bauchi Motor Park, where some people lost their lives. About 15 minutes after 6:02, another bomb blast occurred too, that one at Angwarugu Junction. People died in that place too. Invariably, we had 13 people dead and 14 injured. As soon as this bomb blast occurred, all the security agents converged to rescue those who were injured, taking them to the hospital and taking the dead to the mortuary. The security agencies, including NEMA and SEMA, and even the civilians too, helped to take the injured to the hospital and the dead to the mortuary. So far, the whole area has been cleared, and we can say that relatively the area is calm now. Thank you very much.
In a related development, the National Emergency Management Agency says it has a standing agreement with hospitals to address issues of emergency medical attention when the need arises. This and others are presented in this update from Jos. We do apologize, we cannot bring you that report immediately, but immediately we sort it out, we'll bring it to you. The Department of State Service warns operators of motor parks to properly screen vehicles, passengers and luggage entering into their premises. It also advised them to look out for new faces who show up as drivers and bus conductors. This, according to DSS, is because Boko Haram has resorted to venting its anger and soft targets after the sustainer air and ground offensive on its position in the northeast. Its spokesperson, Marilyn Oga, also cautioned members of the public to desist from boarding unmarked vehicles along the road. In a bid to beef up security in the state, the Comptroller General of Nigerian Prisons, Peter Ezenwa, says security agents in the country, especially the prison authorities, are to redouble their efforts to secure the confinement centers for offenders disrupting the peace of the country. He decried the rise in the number of jailbreaks in the country, stating that such experience would soon be a thing of the past. While thanking the Oyo State government for its assistance to the prison operatives, the Comptroller General requested for additional support for effective operations.
We are engaging the various state governments and all that in discussions so that we'll be able to move the prisons where they are supposed to be as penitentiary institutions. In fact, as of now, the Akwa Ibom state government relocated our prison. We had to build a new one for us at CoreTV. Currently, that they are doing one again at Ekorabasi to remove the prison from its present location, because most of them are just right in the heart of the city, which isn't very good for us.
With the promise to continue in its support for the prison agency and other security agencies, Deputy Governor of Oyo State Moses Adeyemo stated that the 3 prisons located in Ibadan, Ogbomoso and Oyo are currently over-congested and in need for urgent intervention from the federal government so as to avoid an outbreak in the state.
Was known as a very delicate place in terms of hooligans or hooliganism and the rest of them. But since this administration has come to power, Oyo has changed. We are aware that the federal government is building a new prison at Olome. We want to appeal to the federal government through you that the earlier this project is completed, the better for the people of Oyo State.
The Supreme Court has ordered former Plateau State Governor Joseph Dariye to submit himself for trial on corruption and money laundering charges almost 8 years after he was first arraigned before an Abuja High Court. The Apex Court is in a unanimous ruling by a panel of 5 justices throughout the former governor's appeal for lacking in merit. Justices Sylvester Ngunta, who read the judgment, resolved all 4 issues for determination by the court against the appellant. The court also lashed out at him for denying or delaying his trial for nearly 8 years. The EFCC had in 2007 dubbed Dariye before Justice Adebukola Bankojo, on the Abuja High Court in the 23-count charge. He pleaded not guilty, and the trial judge fixed November 13, 2007 for trial. But before the adjourned date, Darie, who is now a senator, challenged the jurisdiction and competence of the court. His application was dismissed and also lost at the appeal court before proceeding to the Supreme Court, which has now directed him to face trial. The police authorities say a number of suspects are in custody for their role in disrupting the governorship rally and the All Progressives Congress in Okrika, Rivers State. Speaking exclusively to CoreTV News in Abuja, the force public relations officer Emmanuel Ojukwu says despite the arrest, investigations are still ongoing into the shooting incident that left at least one policeman dead. He also called on politicians to play the game by the rules while assuring the public of the police readiness to deal with anyone involved in acts capable of disrupting the peace. Lagos State's Commissioner of Police Kayode Aderanti has confirmed the arrest of suspects following the recent Masofejo Motor Park mayhem in Oshodi area of the state. Aderanti made this disclosure to journalists after the emergency security meeting with the Governor Fashale at the Lagos Ikeja. He said the suspect had been arraigned and the leader of the faction declared wanted.
All the principal characters are in custody. Today alone, we arraigned about 18 of them, and they're already in jail. And tomorrow I'm going to arraign about between 16 or 17 of them. I'm not talking about the full soldiers. I'm talking about the leaders. I'm talking about the leaders of these people. These are the people that are causing mayhem. And what we need to do is just to get the arrowhead off. And by the time they're off, then all the foot soldiers are something that we can tackle with easily. So now, do you know that we are going after the principals, people that are encouraging youth into violence. These are the people we want to dismantle their command and control structure. By the time we dismantle it, then we can have peace in that area. I've given an ultimatum to the leader of one of the factions that within 24 hours, if he refuses to turn up to any of these security agencies, we are going to declare him wanted, and it's going to be between us and him. And we will have no hiding place in Lagos State. I can assure you that.
So how many people died?
It's CoreTV Prime Time News. We'll take a break now. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Welcome back. It's CoreTV Prime Time News. Now a recap of some of our major headlines. Nigerian troops have continued the counter-offensive against the Boko Haram terror group with the recapture of more towns in both Adamawa and Yobe State. Federal government blasts APC senators over allegation that it intends to send INEC Basu Tahiru Jaga on terminal leave. Resident Electoral Commissioner for Lagos State, Aki Orebi, says opening newly permanent voter cards is still to be built up in the state. Now, do not forget that you can also catch us on our social media platforms. Well, on Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV News. Edo State Governor Adams Oshomole says the 300 ultra-modern general hospital currently under construction in Bini will soon be completed. He made this disclosure while on an inspection to other project sites with members of his cabinet. Our correspondent was there. He filed in this report.
The Benin Central Hospital is over 100 years old, and with time the structures have all gone bad due to dearth of personnel and a good maintenance culture. But the present state governor, Adams Oshomole, who has undertaken the renovation and reconstruction of the hospital, says it will soon be ready despite the initial setback over the death of the former Filipino site engineer.
But I think overall there is no question that we have a first-class hospital under construction, and our people will be happy at the end that we have one of the best hospitals in the country by the time this is completed. Indeed, all of that is being equal, God permitting, we'll have facilities here that we will be able to say this is the best hospital in the country. But there are just two things you need to achieve that. Good structure, which is on, state-of-the-art equipment, and then employing the finest brains to manage those equipment.
Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly Uyigbe expressed satisfaction with the quality and level of work done, while also expressing appreciation to the governor for putting the state's resources to judicious and appropriate use. He added that the State House of Assembly will always be there for the executive to ensure the success of such projects.
Quality of work done. While inside, we saw very good job being done. I was joking with my deputy speaker that at the completion of this building, let us not have cases that people form sickness just to come and relax in the time. You know, so I'm very impressed, and I want to say also too that I'm very proud to have been a part of this. Now that we see where the money we appropriate is going, I'm sure even though I'll be leaving at the end of this year, hopefully the deputy speaker will still be around to continue to appropriate for the betterment of Edo people. This is a very good example of the House of Assembly working in synergy with the executive. I want to say I'm very impressed.
Earlier, the project manager says he is determined to ensure the completion of the first phase of 200-bed of the accident and emergency ward within a few weeks.
Just like to inform you that this building, the A&D building, accident and emergency building, will be handed over within 2 months. And then with aluminum cladding, elevators, tiles, like you've seen. And we are working on the ward building also to finish it directly after this building within 4 to 5 months. Right now we are building the 2 remaining floors, and finishing works already started in phase 1, and now it's going to start in phase 2 after we finish with these 2 slabs.
He added that the project will be completed by the end of the year. Some of the ecstatic workers applauded the governor for the visit.
The People's Democratic Party claims the vice presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Yemi Osibanjo, has sworn to an oath to resign within 6 months if the party wins the March 28 presidential election. This, according to the PDP's presidential campaign team, is to pave way for former Lagos State Governor Bola Tinubu to take up the position. Spokesman for the campaign team, Femi Fani-Kayode, said at a news conference in Abuja that the real plot is for Tinubu to eventually become president. The federal government has lashed out at Nigeria's leading opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, for largely indulging in propaganda in a bid to run down the achievements of the Jonathan-led administration. It also insisted that there are no plans to remove the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega. Supervising Minister of Information and Minister of Culture and Tourism, Edem Duke, said this at the midnight interactive session with journalists in Abuja. He maintained that the INEC chairman will go through the natural process of exit from office at the appropriate time. A civil rights group, a Rule of Law Development Foundation, has dismissed insinuations that the presidency is plotting to send the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jaga on terminal leave ahead of the 2015 elections. Senators from the All Progressives Congress had, at a media briefing in Abuja, alleged that arrangement has been concluded to send Jaga on terminal leave next week. But former president of the Nigeria Bar Association and coordinator of the group, Joseph Daudu, faulted the position of the federal lawmakers at the forum in Abuja. He expressed confidence that the INEC chairman will be asked to embark on terminal leave at this point in time. Will not be asked to embark on terminal leave at this point in time. Ndigbo Cultural Society of Nigeria is insisting that the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jaga, must proceed on pre-disengagement leave. This group said in a statement issued by its president, Udo Udeogaranya, in Lagos, that it would amount to discrimination if Jaga's case is treated differently from that of his predecessor, Maurice Iwu. It argued that many people opposing a similar action in 2015 did not say anything when in 2010 the then acting president Goodluck Jonathan ordered Iwu to proceed on a terminal leave. Ndigbo Cultural Society also maintained that Jaga has to go on terminal leave, having displayed what it described as incompetence in the distribution of voters' cards, as well as his inability to conduct elections as and when due. It ordered that those citing the Constitution to stop federal government from doing its job should be prepared to proceed to the court for proper interpretation of the constitutional powers of the president on terminal leave of all government appointees. The National Human Rights Commission and the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room have jointly agreed to protect the independence and credibility of Independent National Electoral Commission. They are also demanding an independent investigation of the role played by some military personnel and political office holders during the 2014 governorship election in Ekiti State. The two bodies said this in a joint statement issued after a meeting between the Commission and the coalition of about 60 civil society groups. Both sides reviewed the Commission's pre-election report and advisory on violence in the 2015 elections and concluded that credible elections must hold on the designated dates. They also expressed concern about the possibility of dragging key institutions into politics and agreed to work together to protect the professionalism and neutrality of all security units to be deployed for the elections. The statement was signed by Chidi Odinkalu for the Human Rights Commission and Clement Nwankwo, the convener of the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says 78.93% of permanent voters' cards have been collected across the country as at Thursday, February 26th. Figures released by the INEC spokesman, Kaudi Dowu, in Abuja showed that 54,327,704 eligible voters had their cards. This is out of the 67 million cards the Commission says it delivered nationwide. A close look at the statistics indicates that Jigawa State has recorded a 98% rate of PVC collection, followed by Gombe with 95% and Akwa Ibom with 94%. The figure from Lagos State shows that 63% of voters have collected their cards, while the FCT has 62%. The only state with less than a 50% PVC collection is Ogun State, where only 44% of the cards have been collected by eligible voters. The resident commissioner of INEC in Lagos State, Akin Orebiyi, says over 1 million permanent voter cards are yet to be collected by registered voters in the state. Orebiyi made this disclosure while demonstrating workings on INEC card reader to Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola and members of the executive at the Lagos House, Ikeja.
3,693,000 so far have been distributed, and we still have in our custody at the moment 1,800,000 cards. We're still expecting to receive in Lagos another 430,000 cards, thereabout. Everything should give us roughly 5,905,000 cards. So we keep on appealing to our people to do come out to collect these cards. From this Friday till Sunday, again, we'll be at the polling units for the purpose of distributing these cards. So people should kindly come forward to collect their cards at the polling unit.
After the demonstration, Governor Fashola urged the electoral umpire to invite other political parties for the demonstration of the electoral card readers purposely for the forthcoming election.
Perhaps call a meeting of all the political parties together and let them know how this process also works, so that they can then become your foot soldiers in educating their supporters and their members. And we must do more of this because, as you said, this is the first time we're using this machine. And I think the next 2 weeks will become very critical in enlightening people how this process works.
The Northern Elders Council has endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan's re-election bid ahead of March 28 presidential elections. The group, led by elder statesman Tanko Yakasai, declared support for the duo of Jonathan and Sambo when its members paid a courtesy call on the vice president in Abuja. The Northern Elders Council cited a number of development strides made by the Jonathan administration, including over 120 Almajiri schools, girl child schools in 13 states, 9 new universities and dam and irrigation projects, as well as expansion of railways to justify its stance. Responding, Vice President Sambo maintained that the government has delivered on its 2011 campaign promise to transform the country positively through its transformation agenda. He also urged the council to educate the people of northern Nigeria on the need to vote for continuity. It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back now to business. The federal government on Thursday unveiled its plan to invest a total of $3 trillion over a period of 30 years for the implementation of the National Integrated Master Plan, NIMP. Under the arrangement, energy is to gulp the sum of $1 billion, $775 billion as for transportation, $400 billion as for agriculture, water and mining, $350 billion as for housing and regional development, $325 billion as for ICT, $150 billion as for social infrastructure, while $50 billion as for vital registration and security. President Goodluck Jonathan, who gave the hint at the flag-off ceremony of the FCT land swap initiative held at Wuse district of Abuja, explained that out of the sum, 2.6 trillion naira is required by the Federal Capital Territory FCT over the next 4 years. Jonathan, who is represented by Vice President Namadi Sambo, said the concept of the Abuja Master Plan envisaged a territory that would be built in 25 years with 79 districts and 11 satellite towns with a plan of maximum population of 3.2 million people, adding that the population of FCT is approximately 5 million people with 11 districts completed in 38 years. Latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, on Friday has shown that the nation's foreign exchange reserves tumbled by $2.69 billion in less than 2 months. The figure showed 8.33% fall in Nigeria's foreign reserves to $31.57 billion from $34.44 billion a month earlier. The CBN has been drawing down on reserves to support the ailing local currency hit by falling global oil prices and escalating tensions ahead of the forthcoming elections next month. Oil prices, which accounts for more than 75% of Africa's largest economy revenue, has fallen by more than 50% since last year. The decline has forced the country's finance ministry to fix a benchmark of $52 per barrel in the 2015 budget proposal. The nation's currency, the Naira, on Thursday weakened against the US dollar across markets segments following strong demand of the greenback by end users. Data from Financial Markets Dealers Quotation, FMDQ, revealed that Naira lost 2.52 Naira 50 kobo, or 1.1%, to close at 226 Naira compared to 223 Naira 30 kobo the previous day at the parallel market. At the interbank foreign exchange market, the local currency slide 0 Naira 76 kobo against the dollar. After trading on Thursday, Naira closed at 202 Naira 60 kobo as against 201 Naira 84 kobo the previous day at the interbank market forex market. Also, the Bureau, the change segment of the foreign exchange market, the local currency depreciated by 2 Naira or 0.9% as it closed at 224 Naira to a dollar from 222 Naira the previous day. The Naira has seen fallen by 9.3% year to date. Following the concerns expressed by many Nigerians over the fall in the value of the Naira against other major currencies, Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says the federal government is working with all other arms of government to ensure that policies are put in place to guard against people taking advantage of the situation. She also ordered...
The multiple rate system has been improved, and we have one rate. That is one change that has happened, which I think is to the better. And it will also hopefully help to ease the pressure on the Naira. So let us just look and see. Our whole intent is that we will have supportive fiscal policies that will enable us to support the monetary authorities in stabilizing the system. So you will soon see we will come up with a new set of measures on the fiscal side for the budget. We're already working very hard with the National Assembly, and I think you'll hear from us. I don't want to preempt, but the two sets of policies working together will stabilize the economy, and we expect to begin to get a little more foreign exchange into the system.
She also ordered that the nation's economy has done better when compared with other OPEC countries due to a robust non-oil economy. The minister, who spoke on the sidelines of the Shopee GIF scheme, reports in Lagos, says the ministry has succeeded in sustaining economic growth.
Yes, times will be difficult, but we are going to take the measures that will help us stabilize the Naira more as we move along and ensure that those key programs and critical areas that impact on people are not too affected. So that's the way we are going to go. So I think that everything is relative. As you know, the issue of the oil price was outside Nigeria's control. It was not something that anybody did. But the issue is, are we managing it reasonably well? And I think the answer is yes. And those that look at the way economies are managed are looking at this. We know that the impact on ordinary Nigerians is there. So I'm not trying to say that, people are not impacted. I've always been honest to tell you that because of the drop, it's going to be a difficult year. But I've also always said that if we keep our nerves and we implement the right policies, which I think we are doing.
It's now time to join Sabina Izoko for Stock Market Report. Over to you, Sabina.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izuku. The equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All Shares Index appreciated by 0.19% to close at 30,103.81 basis points. The market capitalization increased in the same manner to close at 10.04 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 399.2 million units of shares valued at 5.3 billion naira were exchanged in 3,831 deals. On the gainer side, Nigerian Breweries topped the gainers chart, followed by 40 Oil, Union Bank of Nigeria, Guinness, and International Breweries. On the flip side, Nestle topped the losers chart, followed by United Africa Company of Nigeria, Flour Mill, Dangote Cement, and Zenith Bank. On the trader side, Navitas Energy PLC, otherwise known as Union Vent, is first on the top trades today, followed by First Bank of Nigerian Holding, Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, and WAPIC Insurance. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Thank you so much, Sabina. Time to join Brownson for sports news. Stay with us.
Our style, that's what he delivered. Here's that ball, storming, we over the flying lead. Ball is hiking them out in the later minutes.
A very big thanks for joining us on our sport news tonight. I am Brownson Uwana. World champions, the Golden Eaglets of Nigeria, will engage Guinea in a battle for supremacy when they clash in the third place match at the 11th CAF Under-17 Championship in the Niger Republic on Sunday. Both teams battled to a 1-1 draw in the second group match with goals from Sam Diallo through a penalty kick after 17 minutes, while Kelechi Nwakali drew Nigeria level from penalty spots in the 85th minute. Both teams have met thrice in this competition in 1995, where Nigeria won 2-1 in the group games, drew 2-2 in the group game in 2001, and drew 1-1 in the ongoing competitions. The Qatar 2022 World Cup finals should be played on December 18, according to the World Football Governing Body leader, Sepp Blatter. A FIFA task force has recommended the November-December tournament to be held. Discussion about a 23rd December final, which would affect domestic scheduling. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Shedmore wants to protect English football festive fixtures list. The 78-year-old Northern Ireland for this weekend International Football Association board meetings and admitted some league were not happy about the Winter World Cup. And the earlier as of today, draws were made for the Europa League. Roma will meet Fiorentina and Villarreal face a tough tie with La Liga rival Sevilla following an intriguing Europa League round of 16 fixture. Everton will take on Dynamo Kiev. Dnipro will take on Ajax Amsterdam. Zenit St. Petersburg will play host to Torino in the first fixture of the two-leg tie. Wolfsburg will play host to Inter Milan, the first game where Villarreal will take on Sevilla. In other fixture, Napoli will take on Dynamo Moscow. Club Brugge versus Besiktas, while the big game will see Fiorentina take on Roma. And now to some games that would be coming up this weekend in the Premier League. West Ham United will take on Crystal Palace at Boys Ground. West Bromwich Albion will take on Southampton. Manchester United will play host to Sunderland at the Old Trafford. Burnley will welcome Swansea City. And of course, Stoke City will take on Hull City. And the last game of Saturday will see Newcastle playing host to Aston Villa at St. James's Park. The Super Sunday fixture will see Liverpool taking on Manchester City at Anfield, while Arsenal will take on Everton. In the Spanish La Liga on Saturday, Getafe will take on FC Barcelona. Espanyol versus Cordoba. Rayo Vallecano will take on Levante. Almeria will travel to Cordoba, while Malaga will take on Getafe. The other fixtures on Sunday will see Valencia take on Real Sociedad. Athletic Bilbao will travel to Elba. Atletico Madrid will take on Sevilla in an away fixture, while Real Madrid will take on Villarreal. Announced some fixtures in the German Bundesliga. Big fixture on Saturday will see FC Bayern Munich take on FC Cologne. Hannover 96 will take on VSV Stuttgart. Borussia Dortmund will take on Schalke 04. Sport Club Freiburg, I beg your pardon, will take on Bayern Leverkusen. TSG will take on Mainz. Hertha Berlin versus Augsburg, while Frankfurt and Reich will take on Hanover. On Sunday's feature, we'll see Borussia Mönchengladbach take on Pedro 07. Werder Bremen will take on Wolfsburg. Announced some fixtures that would be coming up in Serie A. Find on our Sport News tonight. Chievo will take on AC Milan. On Sunday fixture, we'll see Cagliari taking on Verona. Sassuolo will take on Lazio, while Empoli will travel to Parma. Genoa will take on Parma. Cesena versus Udinese. Atalanta will take on Sampdoria, while Fiorentina will take on Inter Milan in the Super Sunday fixture in Italy. And the final game of the weekend in Italy will see Torino taking on Napoli. And that's a wrap on our Sport News tonight. A very big thanks for watching. I am Brownson Wana.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you so much, Brownson. Now on stories outside Nigeria. A nine-welding mob has hacked to death a U.S. Bangladesh blogger whose writing on religion had brought threats from Islamic hardliners. Avijit Roy, an atheist who advocated secularism, was attacked in Dhaka as he walked back from a book fair with his wife, who was hurt also. No one has been arrested, but police say they are investigating a local Islamic group that praised the killing. Hundreds of students gathered in Dhaka to mourn the blogger's death. Roy's family say he had received threats after publishing articles promoting secular views, science and social issues on his Bengali language blog, or Free Mind. North Korea ramped up its threatening language against the United States on Friday, days before the start of annual joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises that often trigger an angry response from Pyongyang. North Korea regularly protests the annual exercises, which it calls a rehearsal for war, and has recently stepped up its own air, sea and ground military exercises amid a period of increased tension between the rival Koreans. North Korea frequently makes such threats against the United States and South Korea, which said on Tuesday the two would begin 8 weeks of joint military drills from March 2nd. On Friday, it said the United States was much upset by the fact that they may be a sign of the detainee on the Korean peninsula, thanks to the DPRK's initiative and efforts to achieve peace this year. However, overtures for dialogue by both Korea in recent months have stalled, with Pyongyang recently describing inter-Korean relations as niching close to a catastrophe. And just before we wrap up the bulletin, a recap of our major headlines. We told you that the Nigerian troops have continued to counter-offensive against the Boko Haram terror group, with the recapture of more towns in both Adamawa and Yobe State. But we also brought you a report that the federal government says ABC blast ABC senators of allegation that it intends to send INEC bus at Tahuru Jega on terminal leave. You also heard from us that the resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State, Akin Rebi, says over 1 million permanent voter cards are still to be picked up in the state. And that's it for Primetime News. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us tomorrow. I am Gift Ogete on behalf of the entire production crew. To have a lovely night rest. Good night.